So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ellie Owens, and I have been a product manager for about 13, maybe already 14 years. I lost count. So, I love building products, I love building overall, and that's kind of my thing. For the last 2, 3 years, as my side hobby, passion, I started teaching people product management. And as you know, in the last year, product management has changed so much. And while I was working at corporations, I was feeling like I'm not owning all the results, right? Like there's leadership changes all the time in corporations, especially with AI. There's use cases where actually we're working on this problem today where our leadership told us, okay, forget all the plans that we had before. The new strategy is you're building the solution, and we predict it's going to save us $40 million in the next half a year. And we were like, wow, amazing. They didn't ask us about all the, use cases, about all the exceptions, but it kind of like the decisions come top down. And we went on to build what we were told to build, which is um, a co-pilot in for Azure on Dynamic CRM, which was part of my product. I was building chatbots and chats. We've built that solution, but half a year goes by and we did not see any savings of $40 million. And that's like a gap of a thing where all the decisions come top down. Usually the leadership has some analysts who do the calculations, accountants, and there's no collaboration, right? And we should have a collaboration between product teams and the analysts and accountants, and it has to go back and forth. And anyway, long story short, this is a use case that we actually went on with, and this year my friend and I, we started a startup, and we've pivoted into solving this problem with a person who has been in finance and has been doing all these analyses for the last 15 years. So long story short, now I'm focused on building the startup that is solving this problem, as well as I love teaching, and I've seen a lot of changes in AI product management. And what I have seen is that there's a big gap of businesses that don't have the time to do all the automations, right? It's not that it's so hard and complicated to figure out, how Cloud works, how Olama works, how to use NAN, but it requires some time. And it requires time to figure out what works best for different use cases and for different businesses. And so, although it seems to be, it's not rocket science, at the same time, businesses are running day to day and they just are out of breath. And the way I know this is because as we were starting, my friend and I, we started a startup in construction tech in the beginning of the year. Now, we were analyzing the construction environment, and that was an interesting story too, because we have noticed that it requires a behavioral change because uh, residential contractors, they work on the location, and there are already some solutions that they can use, but it's the behavior that they would need help figuring out what to use. So this is how Sprava came about, and we started building for the construction company. One of the construction companies that came along was is called Streamline Drywall, and they are located in San Francisco. And they were like, it's all great. There's like a million of different solutions. I want my, customized solution. And if you take previous stories, you build SaaS, you build something that is working for many companies, and these businesses need to kind of suffer here and there and wait for their feature to come, right? If it comes, because it was more expensive to build. Today, it is not expensive to build at all. So hence, there's no need to have it unified and one fits all. Today, you can customize solutions. You can either built from scratch, with the help of AI solutions, and customize it for each business, or you can connect existing solutions that you actually love, and make it work seamlessly. And so this is what business automations is all about. Again, it is not complicated, but it does require some time to figure out different use cases, what kind of tools to use where, how to work with your customer. And so as we worked with a drywall company, we were like, we don't want to do the customization and consultancy. So as we built a solution for them, we kind of moved along, and we've built for them. They needed ability for their staff to be able to take pictures of like their receipts, and then that it needs to go into some sort of a platform where instead of like emails and an admin sitting and like manually taking screenshots of these documents and then calculating and putting in Excel, we automated everything with the help of AI, where it became like a dashboard with a timestamp of when they parked, where they parked, how much it costed them, so they can get reimbursed. And so the human is still involved. Like the admins still stayed. Nobody lost their jobs. It just became much faster and less paperwork, which really helps these companies. We predicted and expected. And as we moved on, we I came to Lisbon for summer, right? And this is my other story. So I had a kind of a construction company that comes and helps me with like setting up, doing some remodeling, putting on like the AC and things like that, fixing things. But they didn't have a website. And in Portugal, I have to tell you, everything is much slower. In Europe overall, everything is much slower. They're aware of AI, of course. Some of them use it, but it's not as hyped as in the United States. And as I was in Brazil and Argentina, I can tell you exactly that. Like the rest of the world is not like rushing, unless you are, you know, uh, China, Korea, Japan, or the United States and some other countries. There's a lot, like the market of small and medium-sized businesses is so immense. And again, some may take time to set it up, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them just like are rushing into day to day, and they would rather have somebody who comes in, sets it up, and then is staying on the retainer as their support, right? So this is what you can do, and this is what I'm honing on to because it came naturally to me. So for this company, JV and V Construction, I've quickly built them. I've given them. I talked to them. I was like, listen, why don't I just build you a website? Here are several examples. They picked an example. I ran it quickly in Base 44. I built it so quickly. And then because for my previous client, we did a white label estimator. So like you can go in as a user, as a customer, and describe your project. And there's limit, it's not like you're just doing a prompt like in Claude, but you walk through it. And David actually knows that estimator, and he was a part of building it, where you have these different questions. You answer the questions, and you basically, at the end of it, get your estimation of the price. And the white label estimation of the price is much better than the one that you will take kind of like in Claude, or even just more focused on different states, because it's based on your prices, on your use cases, right? So I built it quickly for JV and V Construction. I made it Portuguese and English. They were super happy. And honestly, it was so easy to make this money that is just ridiculous. And uh, they paid me for the project. I named my price. And basically, now I am on the retainer. If they need anything, they come to me, and I offer them different solutions. Now, as soon as this website came about, there was more companies. So let me give you a little bit other more information. In Portugal, there's a lot of projects for construction companies. There's not enough people who do a good job of picking up all these projects. And as these different projects would come up, there's no good communication that JV and Reconstruction had. So now they had everything automated with emails, with all these quotes and estimations coming into them via WhatsApp. So as one of the projects that they just nailed, that they just got, is 150k euros to change the roof, which in Portugal, the Portuguese other company was doing calculations of 300k, right? So that's a huge difference. And as you have this list of different projects, since you don't have the capacity to pick all of them, you of course pick the ones that are the most, big and beneficial for you and your team. So again, just by doing these small things that took me honestly like maybe a couple of hours tops, they could grow their business and be much better at picking the projects. So that's another example of what I did. And again, that was just a connection. Like it wasn't, you can do the cold calling, and we'll talk about that, but you don't have to do that. You can start with the friends who you know, who you have. I'm sure you have at least a couple of friends who own businesses and who probably will benefit from these business automations, right? Another friend of mine has a coffee shop in Sausalito, which is in California, and she's expanding to San Francisco. So she needed some help to figure out how to do all these automations plus onboarding for new staff. So Franco and Co. This is a beautiful coffee shop, and now they're opening in San Francisco. One of the problems they had was, oh my, all these are different kind of tables. You can use Toast, you can use different solutions that are already there, but there's a lot of times these different SaaS solutions, they miss something. And so you need to do the automations to have like one dashboard. And that's what we did. We connected Toast with via Zapier. We built the dashboard with the help of Claude, which was pretty easy. There were a couple of headaches, to be honest, because some of these platforms don't allow you to connect. So if you don't have the API or the MCP is not working well, there's other work around that we needed to use. But basically, we eliminated two software solutions that they were using in the past. So we saved them already on that. And we've created this dashboard where they would see all the sales, and we added the reporting of like, okay, these are the most popular sales. And the other thing they were missing was when to purchase or repurchase yet another, like what's out of stock, right? So what I did was pretty simple, actually. Since the staff was already using Telegram, we took in this dashboard. We already had this table that was all collected together in one place. And as soon as the item hits like five items, right, it would send the notification to the team members in one Telegram chat. And I took a screenshot of example here, like low stock. Hi team, just heads up, Affogato is running low on stock. Please check current inventory levels and restock. And so with these types of even simple notifications, connecting the software that they had, eliminating some that were like, too much, we saved them money. So Cody Sanchez has been honing on to this thought idea for a couple of years that you should be owning businesses, small or medium size, and that the boomers are selling them because they're getting very old. So hence, this is your opportunity. So one door is you own a business, and then hey, you can go ahead and automate it and you get all the benefit. The other way is, okay, maybe I don't have the funding, or maybe I'm not ready yet. Let me start with automating other people's businesses. And so first, the reason I like the door one right now is because while you're consulting, while you're helping, thanks to AI, as you learn the right tools to use, it takes very little time. You're not actually building features and things that we used to do as product managers in big corporations, but you also learn a lot about businesses. And as you learn a lot about businesses, you can see which one will fit best for you. So you can consider it later. In the meantime, you're learning, you're building for them, and you're earning money. So the AI tools I'm sure you've heard of, you use Claude and Gemini for intelligent reasoning. You use OpenClaw or IronClaw to build AI agents that talk to staff and business owners via messaging system. So if you have joined my digital twin class before, you know that there's the brain, the hands that execute, the memory where everything is stored, and the face and the hands, the face is kind of like WhatsApp or Telegram or Slack where you communicate, right? But the way you execute and how it works is you either use OpenClaw or you use IronClaw or you use, I don't know, even if you use like Zapier with Claude to push the information out. So I use IronClaw. It is decentralized. I like the way it works. It has more security and safety than OpenClaw, but OpenClaw has a lot more projects. Long story short, this is one way to do it. And again, these are AI tools. A lot of times your business owner will want some sort of communication that is connecting things together, right? And they already usually have something that they prefer, whether it's WhatsApp or Slack. And you can have Slack and Claude all in. But again, it depends on your company. If it's a business like a coffee shop, there's nothing too sensitive, so no problem. But as I was working, I was helping my brother. He's my cousin in Ukraine. He works on a little bit more of like security sensitive work for government. So I was helping him to set up Olama that is locally hosted, that nothing comes out of it into public, and so that's super important. So of course I'm not gonna suggest for him to use Telegram and use Claude. And that's it, because that's not secure at all. So based on the business, you choose different sets of solutions. And that's where, again, we help you learn in 4 weeks. Well, I'll talk about it soon, what to use for different business cases. For automations, you use Zapier and Make, again, depending on the use case. The reason why I use Claude less for the automations part is, first of all, it doesn't connect to, like, it connects to Canva, it connects to Slack, it connects to a bunch of different solutions, but it doesn't connect to all the solutions that you would actually need. For example, Claude doesn't connect to Telegram, right? You need something extra, like you can use Zapier, you can use N8N for it. And again, depending on the use case. But Claude MCP has limitations. Also, it has security constraints, and it is token bloating. So if you kind of keep it as a AI agent that is running every time, it may become very expensive. So you want to choose the right tool so that it doesn't like go overboard. What about N8N? N8N is a great solution. I like it. I think it's more like for more technical people, it's better. For less technical people, I just suggest Zapier because it's easier, right? But when it comes to pricing, if you use the open source version of N8N, it is much cheaper and it's pretty efficient. It's always trade-off, right? Like how much time you want to check on the settings. And again, if we take, for example, the coffee shop and the things that I do right now for them, they don't require me to come every month and do too much of the checking in. Like I'll check on some of the dashboards and see if everything's working fine. But the more complex the setup is, the more they will require you or want you to go and check in, because it could hallucinate, it can make mistakes. So you want to be the one who's coming and kind of fine tuning, making sure it's going right, right? And so as you set it up, you also get monthly payments, right? Like think of yourself as a SaaS now. Now you're the SaaS. Now you get the subscription payments instead of like a company. All right, and local models. Again, just as an example that I mentioned, my cousin works for government, so like, he cannot use like Gemini on the browser or Claude, right? So he needs something that is kind of living on his local host or on his computer, and for specific tasks, it should not be connected to the public. Up, 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 up. Okay, and this is just one of the examples. So, what are the first steps? Anybody having any questions or comments before I kind of move on? Okay, if anything, you message me in the chat. First step is you identify the niche, you identify a market you already understand. That's like the best. But again, if it's a small business and if it's your friend, I believe this is the best, easiest way to go try it out. First of all, it's going to be lower pressure. You can take up some of the tasks that are, not like burning right now for them. It's more for like the future. Like, oh yeah, onboarding would be great. And so you can work on something to practice and at the same time give value. And what happens usually that I've seen is they want more of your help and then they kind of attach to you. Um, and this is how you get the retained. Then build, create the automations using AI, Zapier, and other solutions that I mentioned, and workflows. As you come into a business, you kind of do the analysis. You analyze what are the tasks that are repetitive that you can definitely start with that will bring benefit right away to the business. Because if you unlock one little thing and they can see the bonus of like saving money, saving time, a lot of times saving time, they will want more of it, right? So you go and look through everything and you pick the cherries that are like easy to unlock, doesn't take much time, and you do this like little wow effect. Then from then on, you can go into more complex things. Don't start with complex things, basically. Okay, and deliver. Present the solution and explore further needs. And there's usually further needs as the business always has something more to work on. So best fit clients for automations. I figured out there's a couple of examples I can give you. So as you think about like, who do I have out of my friends who I could help and start earning some extra cash and maybe later on it will become your full-time job. Think about like med spas. They need efficient scheduling and client management. You can build scheduling and client management pretty easily. Well, you gotta tweak it, to be honest. If you just run through Claude once or twice, it will be just not the best working. Like the back end is not gonna all work together. You can use Lovable and Base44, which are no-code solutions. But again, there is to make sure that it works properly, you'll need to do a couple of settings to make sure that the database is there, that it's connected, that there's emails coming in back and forth, and things like that. Veterinary clinics. First of all, med spas and veterinary clinics have good checks, right? And so they are usually willing to pay for a solution that is customized for them. Again, like when you start small. Don't think of like, I need $100,000. Well, you won't, but you can start with this, and that will give you a lot of good practice. Property management, efficient lead intake and tenant communication is crucial. I'm going to be leaving Lisbon this morning. I woke up and was like, I need to rent out my apartment, but I don't want to rent it out for the entire year. I don't want to leave it for this like unknown people. I built a little website and I posted it to my friends. So now it's basically an Airbnb, and it was super easy to do. I tested it, all is well, and I get payments through Stripe. Easy, done. Basically, it's property management right there. As you have practice with your friends, then you can reach out to like cold messages, or you can do it from day one, but I would suggest to do it a little bit later as you have a couple of use cases that you've built out with these friends of yours. So about 85% out of my four different use cases that I have built up lately have increased efficiency through automations and plus sales growth. Just like as an example of JV and V construction, who now have this extra project that is 150K. What do I offer? So for Upskill PM, as I was mentioning, I teach AI product management, which also starts in September, but that's like 3 months plus after that you go, if you have successfully completed it, you get a chance to do the internship with the startup. That's a totally different kind of flow, right? Like you want to be a founder or you want to be in a corporation, that's one way. This is a 1 month training. I have two more mentors who are going to be helping me. But basically, every week, it's only 4 weeks. Every week, what we do is we go through these business cases, we go through these different tools, and I show you exactly which cases need what tools, right? And this way, as you take them in and learn, you practice, hopefully, you practice with your friends. So I would suggest anybody who signs up to start thinking about, okay, my friend who owns this pizza place, what can I help them with? And these are the different use cases where you can try on during the first month. This will already build up several of use cases that you can talk about and then reach out to more people. And usually your friends will refer you to others if they're happy with the results, which I'm sure they will. Um, so we start September 13th.